All right, we are live for another stream here, and looks like we already got Godfo Universes here already. Just let me know if there's any audio issues. If there are, I will work to fix them in a speedy manner. But yeah, I think everything's gonna go well here. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna cover. I do have some stories that are in the news cycle, like the debt ceiling sort of stuff. I'm always fascinated as well by San Francisco, California business closings and anything involving these large companies like an Old Navy leaving San Francisco, which has turned into an area where just they literally have like feces monitors where you can see where the human excrement is and avoid it. There's like an app that you can avoid it. And so this sort of fascinates me. But the other thing is, so my inbox over the past 7 days just blown up because there was all this manufactured drama as usual surrounding iconic comics, Common America, etc. And it just kept going for days and days, and it kept spiraling, getting even more bizarre and more bizarre and more bizarre. And you try and ignore it, and you're just like, this is getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And then people just start asking you questions, and people bring stuff up from like years ago and they ask you about it and you're like, I just want to focus on my books. I just want to focus on Noctis Terrare, which is coming out in the near future, a short story that I'm doing with a really cool artist. You might be able to tell from the image alone, but maybe not. I'll officially announce him later. So it's weird because I'm trying to focus on getting Soulfinder Volume 4 finished up. I'm trying to get Soulfinder Volume 5 ready for next year. I'm trying to get this short story rolling along. I'm trying to get merchandise available for Bell County Comic Con in August. I think I'm going to be in West Texas in a couple weeks. And then I might be at another show in July, and I got to get plane tickets for that. And then August is Bell County Comic. So there's all these things I got to do. And I got people asking me about this weirdo Common America stuff. I got critics of iconic comics coming up with bizarro conspiracies. And then people are asking me about that. And then before the end of the day, the conspiracy implodes upon itself because so I could just get into all this. And I wanted to try and do it in a way where it's also kind of demonstrating that it's best to ignore this as much as possible. But if you are going to address it, just laugh at these people because it keeps blowing up in their face. It's like Wile E. Coyote. And they keep trying to do these bizarre things, and then it doesn't work. The only thing that it does is it makes the creators at Iconic Comics, it cements their relationships and make them want to work with each other even more. And then the readers are, their support is cemented, and it's especially cemented when they see that these things are dishonest and they're just meant to cause problems. And so it's very bizarre to me. Let's see, Middle Earth Storytime is here, says aloha. Let's see, Mr. Magazine here. If you are selling, that's what matters. Brett is here. Thanks for tuning in. Rob is here. Thanks for tuning in. And is Iconic doing anything topical for the upcoming election? We could get into all that sort of stuff. I don't know if there'll be any sort of, if Tim and Mark are going to be doing any sort of political parodies or satire anytime in the near future. I know that they are very focused on the fall crossover, the Antarctic Press Iconic situation that's going on, and they are already working on Common America stuff for next year. So I think the politics, I'm not sure if they'll be getting into the political stuff. Middle Earth Storytime says, looking from the outside, it looks like the CG and Iconic audience is about 80% diverged. And yeah, no, we could get into a little bit of that. Penelope is here. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I don't know where to start with all this. For those that don't know, and most of the people that are tuning in here, they kind of know what's going on Twitter. But and for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to say that there's a couple main critics of iconic comics, but then they have their flying monkeys that go around and they echo them and they forward these, false narratives and along those lines. So for the most part, I'm just going to speak about critics as a whole because they're sort of they have a Borg-like mentality where they just echo each other and it doesn't matter. The truth just bounces off them, or when the truth is stated and shoved in their face, they pivot and they go to something else. And so I guess where this all started was like a week ago or so. This is like 7 days, 8 days ago. Here, we'll put it on this because I'm a good boogeyman for some of these people. So long story short, Tim and Mark are doing their thing. They're fulfilling their books. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of packages going out. Well over 1,000 when you consider the Kickstarter campaigns, or actually 2,000, or it might even, I think it crossed like 3,000 when you include Indiegogo and Kickstarter. But all these books are going out. They're fulfilling, and on cue, as usual, people start taking shots. And one particular critic who cannot stand iconic comics starts likening Ethan Van Sciver, starts likening Common America readers to just says that if you're not basically a real man if you read Common America, and that you have problems, and then from there he attacks the anime and manga communities. So it's one thing to go after Tim and Mark and me on a personal level, but when you start going after readers, people that are reading Common America, and then maybe they check out Soul Finder, it's a different ball game, because the readers they're just literally just reading the books. That's what they want to do. So if you go after all of anime and all of manga and you just denigrate it, that of course kicks up a hornet's nest, because word spreads pretty fast when you start demonizing anime and manga, and the person doing it is I think like a 50-year-old white guy, or late 40s, early 50s white guy who doesn't seem to understand that anime and manga is really popular. And so, of course, as Rob here states, he starts getting ratioed for this. Again, you're going after readers. You're going after large communities. You're actually going after your own audience base, your own reader base, your own customers, because a lot of your own customers like anime and they like manga. So in many ways, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, so all these people start swarming in. So now this guy and all the people that just want to just defend whatever he says, they double down and they triple down and then they quadruple down. So then it's like, where do I go? Oh, okay. Well, you want to get mad at me? Well, now then they pivot to essentially calling iconic comics readers child predators. And they start talking about, X-rated, quote unquote, lowly. I don't even know exactly what lowly is, but from what I've seen in terms of the commentary on it, they're essentially likening say that child predators like this sort of stuff. So then you have people, so that's even more ridiculous, and it's more unhinged, and you're just going off the rails at that point. And that doesn't work out either. So now it's like you pulled out a gun and you pointed it at your foot and you shot it, and then everyone is like gasping, and then instead of stopping, you aim it at your other foot, and then you shoot yourself in your other foot, and then so you're like, what is going on? So then after that, you would think like, okay, these people would stop. They just keep making iconic comics look really like a really good company, and it's exposing. I can't tell you. I keep getting new followers. I keep getting people that are sending me emails. I keep get. I've had people buying books, like they're new people to Soul Finder, and they're like, "Hey, I just bought Common America, and I'm buying. Hey, I'm overseas. Do you ship overseas? Do you ship over to Australia? Yes, I ship to Australia. Oh, do you ship to the Philippines? Yes, I ship to the Philippines. Iconic Comics doesn't always, itself, but I will individually go to a lot of these countries where it's very expensive. So all it is doing is ginning up support and new interest in Iconic Comics with all these unhinged wackadoo statements about Iconic Comics. And that's the other thing, is you have a growing library of work, and people could look at it. They could see that Tim and Mark have something like 17, 18, 19, 20 books in the last 5 to 7 years. They have, and on top of that, what is it? They're going on Common America Volume 8 in Omnibus. So the sign up for that is now, they got the Black Ops stuff going. They have all their political parody books, etc., etc., etc. So if you start talking about Common America and you're negative about it, and you're unfairly negative about it, then people are going to find this stuff. And so it gets weirder and weirder and weirder. So now, then at another point, this dude, he comes out and he starts talking about there's a quote unquote gay op by Iconic Comics. He cuts off who the person was that he's talking about. And so this person says, I cannot get specific, but there is a larger operation at play here with EVS. You want to defend him, fine. Have any opinion you want, but we're done taking his shiza. He's backstabbed almost a dozen YouTubers since 2018, and most woke haters gave him a pass because we all respect what your boy Zach has done and went through, and he doesn't want to deal with EVS's drama anymore. There's a lot more going on than it seems. I am not even leading the charge. This is organic. People are tired of his attitude and want to tell him how they feel. He needs to shut the fudge up about anything anime, manga, and stop being a little beep when we call him out. Notice not one of his YouTube buddies defending. Okay, so this is an anime guy. This is a weeb guy. This is a manga guy who's talking to somebody who knows what. It's cut off, but the implication is that it's from me or Tim or Mark or Eric Canetti or Bill Williams or Matt Weldon or something along those lines. This is called a quote unquote gay op. This is just a guy who's going off. He's angry. He was called a child predator essentially for liking anime and manga. And so the other day, my inbox explodes with this. So this is what these guys do. They make outlandish claims about Iconic Comics, and they have a very large megaphone. And when you have a large megaphone, then people ask you about it. If you actually respond honestly to people who are asking you about the outlandish things people are saying about you, they have then set the standard where you're not allowed to respond to it, or else that is a quote unquote op against them. Even if you're just like, this is not true. This is ridiculous. This is actually mean and nasty stuff. So that's the standard. You're not allowed to have a private opinion on the public statements of someone who is lying about you, disparaging your name, dragging your name through the mud. They just want to be able to say whatever they want to say about you to a large audience of thousands or tens of thousands of people, and you just got to shut up and take it. You got to accept whatever they say. But like I said, so this is just some dude who is really angry. He really likes anime. He really likes manga. And he was emailing someone. So then this is called an Iconic Comics gay op. So I'm like, what is this guy talking about? He better hope and he better pray that the person he's accusing of this doesn't dump his DMs. Well, that's exactly what happened. This guy, Wolf of Weeb Street, goes, behold me, a bot of one, a fake account. Lombarski, this guy, at the time followed me. So these are Ethan's own viewers who follow each other on Twitter. And I wanted him to backstand me and send this to EVS Lombardi. I don't even know. So it's Michael Bancroft and this guy, Wolf of Weeb Street, who was angry at all the anime junk that was said over the past week. And this guy, Lombardi, they're all viewers of Ethan. Then Ethan sent this to me. Twitter is a public demonstration. Fools. All right. So then he posts a video with all of this stuff. So Wolf of Weeb Street guy, he has some sort of relationship with Ethan. They're in some long back and forth diatribe with each other. Okay, so it's pausing on me or whatever. So this is the weirdest thing. So Ethan starts talking crap about anime and manga fans, and he upsets them, including his own audience. They start talking amongst themselves about his outlandish, ridiculous spiral into madness about iconic comics and anime. And then he takes that and he twists it into some sort of quote unquote iconic comics gay out. And it completely explodes in his face. Now, here's the thing is his own audience, a huge percentage of his audience, they all ran with it. They all loved this. They were just talking about it and sharing it and all this stuff. And it turns out it was a giant lie, and it was exposed as a giant lie within hours. So this should give you a clue as to who these people are. And so then they start bringing up all this Hut stuff from last year, because when you get cornered and you're lying, then what are you going to do? You're like, Doug Ernst paid comic book Hut. Actually, there was a guy, and he came to me when his mother died and said he didn't have money for a funeral. And he said his mother was Catholic. And I've showed the handwritten letter from this guy showing his thanks that when he didn't have money for a funeral, I gave him money for a funeral. Because what am I going to do when a poor person who says his Catholic mother is dead and he doesn't have money says he needs money? I gave him money for the funeral. Now, and then I debunked last year on this video for about 50 minutes. I just kept dropping receipts showing that this guy was lying about, thing after thing after thing after thing, claim after claim after claim, just a lie. Anyone who wants to watch it, it's there for them to check out. But then I was like, you know what? I for a year now, I haven't dropped. I have receipts for days and days and weeks that I could drop just exposing these lies, and I didn't do it. And there was this doofus creator that was saying that, oh, you were silent. Why were you silent? It wasn't a scared silence. It was an I don't want to feed the drama merchants silence. It was a silence of confidence, because I know that at any point in time, I could put stuff like this out there for the world to see. That the biggest contributor, the whale of a contributor to the whale book of Comic Book Hut, roughly 24 to 48 hours before a giant smear campaign was launched against me, was none other than Iconics Comics' biggest critic. The Comic Book Hut DMs me and abuses backer information and says someone dropped $500 into my campaign. Me. Very nice. And then he says exactly who it was. He says it was Ethan. Now, after this, I wanted to subtly let him know, like, hey, I think you just kind of abused backer information. And so I was just like, Yeah, he didn't really do that anonymous. And he's like, and then he immediately went right back to saying how he was scared that Ethan was going to pull the money at the end of his campaign or whatnot. But anyway, the point is sort of like this whole giant lie right here. It kind of would have been pertinent to the conversation if you're launching a giant smear campaign against somebody to let people know, like, hey, all these claims about Douglas Ernst, they came right after I gave somebody who was desperate for money and his campaign was imploding and he didn't know how he was going to fund his campaign, and he was mad because Doug wasn't going to just drop $500 in his campaign just because. That the same guy, like, he went to me. I'm the guy who's saying all these things about Doug, and there's all these outlandish things, and I'm the guy who gave him $500 right before he said that. You would think that would be relevant to any sort of conversation, but I guess that one didn't get out there last year. Anyway, the point is I have for a year now, I have not released any of this stuff, and there is so much more that I could if I wanted to, and I have ignored them again and again and again and again. And it's like, you don't really want to play this game because it will make you look really bad. Now, you want to know who the first person was that ran to a doxing website and told a bunch of doxers that this guy accidentally used his real name on his campaign? I wonder who that was. Name rhymes with Scheming Van Miser. But anyway, so he goes to a doxing website, puts out the dude's name, and then all of a sudden his personal photos start showing up on a doxing website, Kiwi Farms, and then all of a sudden his workplace info shows up on the same exact website, and then he goes on a stream and he's like, somebody's calling my workplace. He's all scared. And then when he's sufficiently scared, then magically $500 by the same guy that ran to a doxing website shows up in his failing campaign. And then right after that, he starts saying, oh, well, the most evil people in the world are Iconic Comics. Do you see how that works? Do you see how it works? And then he's going to delete all of his videos. He literally deleted 1,200 to 1,400 videos or something along those lines. So nobody could do any cross checks. There could be no scrutiny of the videos. And then a couple days later, he put up 2 of the videos, and it was people saying that I should be raped and sodomized. They really thought that was going to make me look bad, that I was upset that people said I should be raped and sodomized. Oh, good one, dude. Yeah, okay, yeah, that really makes me look bad. Yeah, okay. So anyway, the point is, boop, 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 is that these people are desperate, and you can't argue with happy readers. You can't argue with a growing library of Iconic Comics. You can't argue with the fulfillment and distribution track record of Iconic Comics. You can't argue with the merchandise. You can't argue with multiple conventions per year. You can't argue with cool surprises like a Noctis Terrare or something along those lines. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. So, all right, boop. Let's see. We covered Wolf of Wall Street. What else do we want to say? Like I said, you're going after the readers, and every year we have people that are doing the heavy lifting for Iconic Comics in terms of spreading the word. Patrick Johnson here was, he went through all the books, starting with Demon's Match, into Black Tide, into Infinite Ascent, and then War Cry. He's done stuff on Common America. Who was the other guy? There's another guy. Boom, this guy right here, brand new reader. Mr. Otaku here, just finished Soul Finder 1. Soul Finder Volume 2 through 4 are very high on my list. of next purchases. So again, the more that like there was some guy when again all these critics, there was some guy who was like Doug Ernst was put down by a dog, or like a dog. I forgot the exact wording, but he's like he's dead. I was like, really? Are you sure about that? Because it really doesn't seem like Iconic Comics is dying on the vine. It actually seems like it's growing. Hate to tell you that. You got people that are sharing the books on streams like Blue Samurai Zero here. Now, here's the other thing. This gets into the critics. So there was this other creator that was arguing with him, and he was just like, "Do you support Iconic Comics? Do you support Iconic Comics?" And it's like, here's the thing that they do. How do you even define support? Like, is support just buying a random Iconic comic by Eric Canetti? Like if he did support Iconic Comics, but he was making another point, then who really cares? So these guys were getting all bent out of shape about where is it? Sorry, I'm looking for Tim's here. All right, got that. Got the sign up. All right, I'll find it somewhere here. All right, go back to the beginning. All right, I don't want to get myself too far off track. Oh, that was it. It was the On Time Books. So there was this creator that was saying that whenever Iconic Comics talks about On Time Books, then it's a shot at other creators. Oh, here we go. Speaking of the comic book hut, here's a small portion of the handwritten letter that was sent to me on it was written on March 14th, 2021, months after his mother died, thanking me. Dear Doug, what I am sending you is both a late Christmas gift and a heartfelt thank you from me to you. Your support during this difficult time cannot be measured in possessions or anything financial. Isn't that rich? Your support at this time cannot be measured in possessions or anything financial. Well, I guess when you're running a campaign and it's failing, and a comic book pro puts $500 in your campaign, then your worldview changes pretty quick. Let's see. The word support, blah blah blah. Been an enormous. My sister, when mom to the hospital, yada yada yada, with a drawn picture of the chameleon, which actually, on many levels, I do find the humor in it that a guy that would gift me a hand-drawn picture of the chameleon, would then do some chameleon-esque evil crap in terms of lying about me. So kudos for the chameleon-esque smear campaign there. I really appreciate that. I do see the humor in it. But it was a blessing in disguise. Like I said, when this happened last year, and to this day, I still have people saying that I paid this guy for videos as opposed to his mother's funeral. It was a blessing in disguise. It showed me the people that would blindly believe anything about they just wanted to believe bad things about me. They didn't want to ask me about it. They just wanted to block me. They just wanted to nope out and never talk to me again. They wanted to be able to badmouth me forever. That's what they wanted to do. They didn't want to see evidence that what they believed was wrong, because again, they're flying monkeys. That's what these people are. Anyway, let's see. Where is it? Again, there was so much going on last week. You had these same people are going after readers who are just making character analysis videos. Where is the late books thing? Tyler from Drawn Talk was talking about it, and he was just like, hey, listen, if you think late books, any talk of that is attack on somebody else, then you have problems. Oh, here we go. So here's Tim. On-time books is a general business statement and selling point. If you are mad because you think it's aimed at a particular person, that says more about your projection than our model. Even creators I like have been late. The statement exists to differentiate, not discriminate. So again, the problem that a lot of creators have with iconic comics is when you try and make on-time books into some sort of unforgivable attack on somebody, you look ridiculous to the outside world. The objective observer, the person who is not in your little echo chamber, they think that you look strange because the way that business works around the world, whether it's Amazon or all sorts of different companies, is it is a selling point to say, hey, when I promise you widgets and gadgets at this place at this time, I'm going to get you widgets and gadgets at that time. And the people that are offering similar widgets and gadgets, if they can't do that, then that says something about how they are running their business. If you are somebody that doesn't want doubt to creep in about whether you're going to get the thing that you were promised, well, look at our track record, because you can take the doubt away. You can have peace of mind. How many businesses sell their product on giving the person peace of mind? It's a lot. So I could go on and on, but it's been a very weird 7 days. Bianca's here. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. The 10-cent story, I would be terrified if Twitter's opinion was real life fact. Let's see. 10-cent story, and you know that he knew that $500 payout wasn't a real payout because Hutt's campaign was failing. So yeah, that's the thing, is if somebody is desperate for money, they are desperate to fund their campaign, and they see somebody with deep pockets who puts $500 in their campaign, and they also are scared because their docs has been put out and their personal photos and their workplace info, and people are calling their workplace, it makes sense that that person wants to get the doxers, the attack doxers, off their back, while simultaneously funding the book, while simultaneously getting back at the individual that they thought would give them a certain level of support, but they were mad because they didn't get that level of support. So in his mind, it's like, if I give these guys a Willy Wonka golden ticket of lies, I can do multiple things at once. I could fund my book. I could stick it to these guys who I wanted to fund my book to the tune of, hundreds of dollars or who knows what, and they didn't do it. And I could get into the good graces of somebody that I've criticized for years. But it didn't work because he did all of that, and then they called him a troglodyte, essentially. They called him a caveman. They called him a total idiot. And they laughed at him, and then he basically just went away, because what are you going to do when you crawl to somebody with a bunch of lies, and they thank you for the lies and they run with the lies, but then they call you a complete moron, and they just like stomp on your neck and your face, and they rub your face in the mud and humiliate you, because that's what they did. So congratulations again, Mr. Hutt. You had people in your life that were actually honest with you and willing to tell you, hey, your book needs like 3 or 4 more drafts. Hey, you probably shouldn't start inking. Hey, you should probably really think long and hard about how many books you want to release, and if you're going to be on YouTube for years or not, and how many books you think it. Well, whatever, dude. So good luck to you, whatever you're doing in life now. But again, Wile E. Coyote, all this stuff blowing up in their faces. Let's see. Godfo Universe, on-time books, getting what you paid for. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Do I want to talk about this or not? Okay. Yeah, well, we'll talk about this. So the other thing that started happening is that the crowdfunding debate showed up once again. And I thought it was interesting because you have these people. So that's the thing, is the iconic comics blueprint years ago was to there. I mean, there was a lot to it, but part of it was casting as wide of a net as possible. So you don't want to limit yourself to just one. You don't want to like box yourself into Indiegogo. You want to go to Twitter. You want to go to YouTube. You want to go to Instagram. You want to go to Indiegogo. You want to go to Kickstarter. You're going to go everywhere there is a potential reader and cast your net. And you don't want to be beholden to anyone. You want as much power as possible in the hands of the individual creator and their unique definition of success. That's what you want. Iconic Comics, since its inception, has been a testament to creators that want to have as much power in their hands as possible to control their destiny. Obviously with the assistance of God, but Iconic Comics has constantly been pushing outwards. You have Timothy Lim going out into the Japanese audience. I have backers or customers that are military communities, law enforcement communities. We went to Catholic radio stations, Catholic television stations. I advertised on Christian websites, cable news, everywhere you can possibly go. Iconic Comics has seen opportunities where others have seen hopelessness and said, like, listen, you don't need to be beholden to any one creator. You don't need to put all your eggs in the basket and hope that maybe you'll get on some large creator's stream one day and they'll be like, hey, back the book. Because I said back the book, and then you'll just win the YouTube lottery. The YouTube lottery is not the way to go about long-term success. So anyway, you have these people that are saying like, Kickstarter's woke. Don't go to Kickstarter. Simultaneously, they're like, Indiegogo is shadow banning our creators. Blah, 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 blah. So Indiegogo, Kickstarter, YouTube, Twitter until Elon Musk, and still Twitter on some levels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, go down the list, Amazon. All of these tech companies are filled with woke people. It's just the degree of wokeness that is there. So if you are a principled conservative person, or if you're a right-leaning individual, or even if you're a libertarian, they kind of hate your guts. And so if you're just going to start picking and choosing arbitrarily, like, we can't go to Kickstarter because they're woke. Well, you look kind of silly because all of the other platforms that you use are woke. And actually, here's the thing. If you say, don't use Kickstarter, but you're doing it on YouTube while asking people for super chats or encouraging people to give you super chats, and a percentage of those super chats go to YouTube and your ad revenue goes to YouTube, who is worse, Kickstarter or YouTube, in terms of attacking and eroding the pillars of free speech? Is it Kickstarter or YouTube? I would say unequivocally, objectively, YouTube. YouTube is far larger than Kickstarter, and YouTube has done far more damage in terms of attacking the ideals of free speech. I don't even know how anybody can argue with that. So if you are accepting massive amounts of super chat money from YouTube and you are encouraging that, then I don't know how you can be accused, or I don't know how you can deny being a giant hypocrite. And it's just silly to me to essentially split hairs over which platform is wokety woke and what's not, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. If you are a creator, why would you allow any other creator to put a professional straitjacket on you and to say like, hey, you got to do this because I'm doing this. And maybe someday if you do the thing that I'm doing, then you'll financially benefit you because I'll help you out down the line. Dude, if you've paid attention to indie comics over the years, individual creators will do what is in the best interest of the individual creators. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about their bank account. They care about their family's well-being. They care about putting food on their family's table. They don't care about you. And if you think that they do, then I'm sorry, but again, you are gullible, which might be a reason why that you believe all sorts of lies about iconic comics, because you're a gullible person. And gullible people are exploited, especially if you're kind and gullible. If you want to believe the best in people and you don't realize that some people, they don't have your best interest in mind. And some people want to funnel you into their blueprint that coincidentally benefits them and puts them in the position of a kingmaker. Yay! So, where are all my prodigal sons out there? The creators, when I tried to tell you that you should cast as wide of a net as possible to be fishers of indie comic book readers, where are my prodigal sons? The ones that call me an SJW spy, the ones that call me disloyal, the ones that call me a quote unquote traitor because I wanted you, the creator, to have as much power as possible over your creative and professional destiny. Where are you? Because when you want to apologize and admit that I was right, I forgive you. I forgave you a long time ago. I just felt bad about you because for years you have been kneecapping yourself. Speaking about the people that are shooting themselves in the foot, I find it very interesting. Imagine a situation, if you will. Again, a man brags about how he has so many friends. He's got all the friends in the world, but he pulls out a gun and he shoots himself in the foot, and all of his so-called friends sit in silence. And then he takes the gun and he puts it at his other foot, and he shoots the other foot, and it's bleeding, and the bones are shattered, and then they're exposed before everyone, and his friends say nothing. And then he takes the gun and he puts it into his stomach, and he pulls the trigger again, and the bullet goes out the other side, and he's bleeding, he's leaking out of his liver or whatever. And then he puts the gun to his head. Is he going to pull it? His friends have said nothing as he shot himself again and again and again. Does that man actually have any real friends? Does he? I would conclude that if a man shoots himself multiple times and he claims he has friends, but his friends never stop him, they just sit there in silence, and they don't say, "Hey, dude, stop it. You're going to kill yourself. Hey, dude, what you're doing is unhealthy. Hey, dude, what you're doing is sick. You need help." If they don't say anything, I would surmise, I would conclude that that person doesn't have any real friends. I don't know. You tell me what you think. But I do know that iconic comic readers have reached a point where attacking the readers is not a really good idea, because they really like their books. They really like interacting with the creators at shows. They really like the reliability. They really like the consistency. They really like the transparent communication with customers on a regular basis. They really like the fact that the creators at Iconic Comics have been in it for the long haul since 2018. Going to shows, going to Bell County Comic Con, going to shows in Arkansas, going to shows in the South, going to shows in West Texas, going to shows in Orlando. So this is a losing battle for people that want to just make a complaint that, again, On Time Books is somehow this unforgivable attack on other creators. There's books I backed years ago. I still have not received them. I don't call these people out. Maybe I should. Maybe I should at some point in time, but who knows? Anyway, again, thanks to all the readers that are sharing the books on YouTube. Thanks for everybody that's shown support for the upcoming projects. Like I said, I will be showing previews of Noctis Terrari in the near future. Hopefully I'll get a time-lapse video and show people that. Think you're going to dig it. It's pretty cool. What else do we got here? Old Navy. Do we want to talk about the debt ceiling or not? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's see. Penelope. Not quite sure if Henry Thrun understands that we are here to listen, Doug. Sigma Centurion on time, critical hit. Blue Samurai Zero. All right, Matt Reese is here. Thanks a lot, Matt, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Let's see. All right, we'll talk about the debt ceiling. So, long story short, the Republican Party is filled with people that talk a big game, but they don't have any spines. Over and over and over again, they agree with the premise, the doomsday premises of the likes of Joe Biden, or in the past, Barack Obama, or you just keep going down the list. And when it comes to the big things, they consistently will let you down. There are not very many principled conservatives left. These people are Republicans in name only, unfortunately. So you have people like Kevin McCarthy here. We're going to let the government grow, but at a slower rate. And so, like I said, how much more can it grow, Kevin? This is like a doctor telling a morbidly obese man with edema, full-blown diabetes, and a heart on the verge of exploding that it's cool to keep growing at a slower rate. So if they want to keep going with the unlimited debt and they just keep going and going and going and going, well, guess what? One day you're going to pay the piper. You can only do accounting tricks for so long. It's going to end horribly. These people wonder why they have no support. These people wonder why no one really cares about going out to vote for them. You got to drag your butt to vote for a Republican if you actually care about basic economics. This is why right here, because time and time and time again, they always fold. They never hold the line, whether it's COVID, whether it's debt, whether it's deficits, whether it's new wars that people feel they got to get into and give countries literally tens of billions, if not, well over $100 billion, while simultaneously saying that we're not in a war. We're just funding a war to the tune of $100 billion plus. So this is all madness. This is all craziness. And if you're like me, you have no faith in the modern Republican Party. But I'll vote for who I got to vote for, I guess. It's just kind of embarrassing. Similarly, these guys, they don't even do anything. You had all these COVID rules changes to the election that encouraged chaos. Are they addressing any of this? I don't think so. Does it matter whether Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis or whomever is the candidate, if the rules are the exact same rules that they were during COVID, where you can just mail in ballots without a post date on them? You could just have ballots just show up. You could have ballots show up with just like random squiggles on them that don't even match the other person's thing. We're not even going to do signature match sort of things. We're just going to whatever comes in, we just tabulate it. It doesn't matter who the candidate is if the system itself is corrupted and the system itself is broken. Let's see. Tomes is here. Check out Tomes' channel. Tomes did some stuff on Iconic Comics as well. I apologize for not bringing that up. He has been a stalwart reader of Iconic Comics, and he gives his honest takes on all the books, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sort of like Art Table Talk is another one. He's a pretty sharp guy. He just throws it out there, lets you know what he thinks, and really appreciate that. It's nice and it's refreshing when people give you feedback that is coming from a place of honesty. So thank you for that. I don't have to always even agree with the people that are critiquing the books. If I know that they're trying to be honest in their critique, there is almost something that I could find in there that is I agree with, that is truthful. It's just the degree to which I agree with them. So something might be a big deal to them, and I'm like, yeah, that's true, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as you do, and I am working on it. So I try to be my own harshest critic. So when people come up with legit constructive criticism, then I could be like, yeah, that's true. And I usually will have the private idea about why I screwed up something or why I dropped the ball on whatever. But it's not something where you want to get into a debate with people on it. So let's see. And the last thing, Old Navy is apparently pulling out of San Francisco because of all the crime. You could go around to Target and Walmart and all these different large companies that are pulling out of Los Angeles and San Francisco, and oftentimes places like Philadelphia, Chicago, where they have these district attorneys or whatever, where you can essentially just steal to your heart's content and nothing will ever happen to you. They might slap you on the wrist and just be like, hey, well, you know, we understand because your great grandfather was oppressed. Your great grandfather was a slave. So we understand if you want to steal $200 worth of skincare products from Target, that just don't do it again. Oh, you've done it for the 10th time? Oh, okay. Well, I guess your great grandfather must have been severely I guess he was killed by a plantation owner or something. So, okay, well, don't do it again. We'll see you at the 30th time that you're stealing from Target or Old Navy. Meanwhile, Old Navy is like, we're out of here, dude. This is crazy. This is absolute insanity. This is absolute lunacy. And we're gone. Sorry. So, like I said, I feel bad. I used to live in Los Angeles. I was there. I met my wife there. And in many ways, it had its problems then. I was attacked by a homeless guy who tried to push me into oncoming traffic. Luckily, a cop was there and dealt with it very quickly. But I know all about the drug-addled homeless population in Los Angeles. And trust me, they can be scary. But you have people that just encourage this sort of thing and turn a blind eye to it. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Ascendant Fiction, that's for tuning in. That's the way to respond to genuine critique from fans. The weirdest thing is when I've had bad reviews before. I've seen them online. I just like I don't argue with the person. When I see creators that go after people that are just like ripping their work to shreds, I was like, it's not worth it, man. They clearly don't like it. Edwin the Ace is here. Thanks, Edwin, for tuning in. Check out Edwin's channel. Check out Edwin's books. He's got a new one. I don't know if it just finished funding or not. That one's on Fund My Comic, so you might want to check that out. But Edwin, I always say, Edwin's been a solid dude for years, so just check out Edwin's books, see if it's up your alley. And if so, I'm assuming Edwin's going to be around for years to come because he's been putting out books for years. So Blue Samurai Zero is here. Thanks for tuning in. Blue Samurai, I don't know if you know, but I mentioned your channel earlier. Check out Blue Samurai Zero, HBK. Get Off Duty and Mr. Ernst is on score. Hey, thanks for tuning in, man. I did a podcast with HBK about a year ago. You could find him on Twitter for sure. He's on Spotify. I think he's also interviewed, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm getting old here, so my short-term memory is not what it used to be. I know that he's interviewed Timothy Lim and Mark Pellegrini. It was a really long stream. I want to say it was like 3 hours or something. And I listened to probably like 2.5 of it, and then I never got the rest of it. But anyway, a lot of people here with channels, with books, all of that sort of stuff. Edwin says Raid on the White Leopard is still funding on Fund My Comics, so check out Edwin's book. Again, see if it's up your alley. He's been around for years. He's been putting out books. He puts out books on time books. So yeah, Edwin, solid dude. Blue Samurai Zero, solid dude. Godfo, solid dude. Well, pretty much everyone that I've read today has been a solid dude, or actually a lady. I know there's at least one very kind lady here, and I appreciate you for tuning in as well. So, wow. All right, we have come full circle. Soulfinder Noctis Terrari is coming out in the very near future. The artist, can you tell who the artist is just by the eyes? I tried to zoom in pretty close so people, it would be a little bit harder. It could be a number of people, but he's a really cool dude. He's a very talented artist. You've seen him around. You may have purchased his books before. Very cool. Oh, That's what I was gonna say. I did mention this earlier. So these random, unfair, dishonest attacks on iconic comics, you're just bringing us closer together. You're just bringing all of us closer together. So crossovers happen, work with different artists within iconic happens, because you want to go after us unfairly, and it just makes people. It just all right, fine. You want to pull out the shotguns, the dishonest lie shotguns on iconic comics. We're just going to keep working. We're going to put out more books and more books and more books. And that is the response to people that are going to go after us. We're just going to keep doing our best to grow a reader base of happy readers. And there's nothing you could do. You cannot take on a large reader base of happy customers. It's not gonna go in your favor. Always be original. All right. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'll be back with another live stream in the near future. And appreciate it. See ya.